Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Basketball Bulletin. I am Trevor Lane. Crazy night in the NBA last night. Some amazing stuff going on. The Cavs are unstoppable. Victor Wembanyama doing things that, frankly, no one else can do. And who knew? The Brooklyn Nets actually really fun, and they're winning games. Is that the best thing? I don't know. But let's dive into last night's NBA action. Make sure you do subscribe right here to the channel and turn on those notifications. All right, let's kick things off with the still undefeated Cleveland Cavaliers. Good Lord. You look what this team is doing right now. They've been absolutely phenomenal, but that's not to say the Chicago Bulls didn't give them a run for their money. And here's the thing that I think is going to happen now with the Cavs, because everybody's talking about them. The only unbeaten team left in the NBA. Now they're going to get everyone's best shot, because every team wants to be the team to hand them that first L. But you look what the Cavs accomplished in this game. Donovan Mitchell, I mean, my goodness, 36 points, 8 boards, 4 steals. The man is absolutely unreal. And then you've got Player of the Week. Darius Garland chips in with 17, 15 from Evan Mobley, along with 11 rebounds. The 3 turnovers, he had a couple that were pretty sloppy. Little bit concerned about that. But this Cavs team just so good. But I'll tell you where the real strength is of Cleveland, particularly in this game. Look at off the bench. You got 36 points from 3 guys off the bench. Ty Jerome, Karis LeVert, George Niang, giving you that scoring burst. That helps you out on a night where Jared Allen was a minus 23, right? Did not play all that well. Only 9 points. Isaac Okoro, a minus 11. Some of your starters got caught in a bad rotation. Darius Garland, minus 14. And then your bench comes in and saves the day. That's what the best teams do. Even when their starters aren't necessarily having the best performance, they've got ways to still find their way through and get a win. But once again, let's give credit to the Chicago Bulls. I did not expect much out of this team heading into the season, and they were game. Like, they gave the Cavs a real run here. There was moments in this game where I went, wow, this is going to be it. They're going to do it. You look at Zach LaVine, professional scorer, 12 of 20 shooting, at one play where he looked like a wide receiver in the NFL, tipping a ball to himself, catching it, coming down, reverse layup, and one. Thing of beauty. The man is so graceful when he's out there on the floor, and fingers crossed when he's healthy. You know the way things are going on the injury front around the NBA right now. Kobe White was shooting threes from deep and draining them. 5 of 11, 20 points for him. Nikola Vucevic, 9 of 50. Like, you can't ask for much more from Chicago's guys here. Josh Giddey, look at him chipping in 8 boards, 7 assists, a steal, a block. That's across the stat sheet production from Josh Giddey. But the big difference, again, the Cavs, their bench chips in. You had 3 guys chip in with 36 points. I would assume Sumo gave you 10 for the Bulls, just don't have that same depth. And that ultimately made a big difference in the outcome of this game. And the Cavaliers are able to walk away with the win. But again, I'll tell you what, the Bulls were impressive. They were good. And 10 rebounds, got to give a shout out to Patrick Williams. But overall, really solid performance from Chicago. They shouldn't hang their heads too much with this one. They gave the Cavs a real run. Taking a quick peek at the standings, there are the Cavs sitting alone atop the Eastern Conference, 12-0 right now. The Cleveland Cavaliers, absolutely amazing start to the season for them, and they just keep on rolling. It's still insane. The 4 seed in the Eastern Conference is below 500. Good Lord. Like, what is happening? What is happening? But taking a peek at the Cavs schedule from here, where does the loss come? Where is their loss? 76ers, they're missing plenty of players, right? They're going to be missing guys there. Tyrese Maxey certainly going to be out. I don't know off the top of my head, that might be the Joel Embiid return game, or maybe one more, but that may be it. But still, Philly, Chicago again, Charlotte. Oh, here's the big one. November 19th at Boston. If the Cavs have not lost, if they get through Philly, Chicago, and Charlotte, this game is going to be must watch.
That was really good.
Cavs, Boston, in Boston, on TNT. Oh, I hope the Cavs are 15-0 coming into that game, because that's only going to add to the drama of what should be an absolutely fantastic battle in the East. All right, let's move over to the Thunder and the Clippers. I thought this was, of all the games on the schedule, I thought this was the most interesting game. Why? Because you've got a Thunder team that just lost Terrible, terrible injury. Just lost Chet Holmgren. And now you're going up against maybe not the worst team to play against, but certainly one of the worst. Certainly one of the worst. You've got Ivica Zubac, top 4 in the NBA in rebounds per game right now. And that is right out of the gate the guy you have to see after you just lost your center, Chet Holmgren, and you're already missing Isaiah Hartenstein. You're already missing the big Jalen Williams. So how are you going to handle that? And you look at this, you go, oh, well, Ivica Zubac did his thing, 22 points, 14 boards, 4 offensive boards. Derrick Jones Jr., yep, this is what you need to do. Look at that, 4 offensive boards from Derrick Jones Jr. The Thunder don't have a center. They're going to play small the entire game. So what do you need to do in order to beat them? Punish them on the glass, crush them with second chance points. And that's exactly what they did here. But it still was not enough. I mean, look at this. Derrick Jones Jr., 4 offensive boards. You got 3 offensive boards from James Harden. You got the kind of production that you needed there if you're the Clippers. Derrick Jones Jr. with 20 points, 22 for Zubac. James Harden did not shoot that well. 5 for 15, but almost a triple-double, 17 points. And then look, my God, Norman Powell. Have a month. 31 points. I didn't think that Norman Powell could keep this going. I didn't think he could continue this streak, but look how hot Norman Powell has been. 26 points per game in the month of November. My goodness, 31, and that isn't even his high for the month. He dropped 31 the other night against Sacramento. He's been absolutely fantastic for the Clippers. So you get all of this. Why didn't you win the game? Well, look at what the Thunder did. 23 turnovers for the Clippers. So the Thunder recognized, and I think this is where the strategic battle comes into place, the Thunder recognized we are at a big disadvantage on the glass. So what we need to do, and just in size in general, what we need to do is we need to be scrappy as hell. If they're going to throw the entry pass into the post, we're going to front. We're going to try to sneak through. We're going to try to intercept that pass before it even gets there. We're going to defend like crazy on the perimeter. We're going to force turnovers. We're going to pressure defense. We're not strong in the paint, but we're going to try and make sure they don't even get into the paint. And that's exactly what the Thunder executed in this game. Again, look at the turnovers. 23 turnovers for the Clippers. Look at the steals for OKC. 5 for SGA. Good Lord. Jalen Williams, 2, and he had a game. 28, 8, and 6 on 11 of 16 from the field. 2 of 3 from 3. Incredible stuff. SGA, 4 of 8 from deep. 15 of 16 at the free throw line. All the other areas that they needed to win. They knew they were going to get crushed on the glass. 15 offensive rebounds for the Clippers. 47 rebounds overall. Just 29 rebounds for the Thunder. 47-29 was the rebound battle. The Thunder looked at it and said, yep, we're going to concede on the glass. We know we're going to get beat there. So what do we have to do? Number 1, you got to force a lot of turnovers. That's going to create extra possessions. Check. Thunder got that done. The second thing, how do you make up for that type of size discrepancy? Well, the great equalizer, 3-point shooting. That's exactly what the Thunder did. Look at that. My goodness, 46 3-pointers attempted by OKC, and they hit him at a 39% clip. That will make up the difference very quickly in the size issue that you've got battling a team like the Clippers. I don't know if the Thunder can do this every single night. I know they're going to be anxiously awaiting Isaiah Hartenstein coming back from his broken hand, but on this night, because sometimes when a big-time player goes out, a team picks it up for a game, 2 games, something like that. Short-term boost where everybody is fired up and they're all on their A game. And I think that's what we got out of the Thunder in this one. But I think this will hurt them long-term, not having Chet. But they executed the game plan. They did exactly what they needed to do, recognizing they were going to be at a major disadvantage in the paint. They got the turnovers and the 3-point shooting that they needed in order to get the win. And that's not to say that the Clippers shot poorly from, they didn't. Look at this, 54% from deep. They hit 20 of them, but the Thunder just put up more. They were able to really spread the Clippers out and make that 3-point shot a weapon. Again, the Clippers actually hit more threes in the game, but the turnovers really caught up to them in this one. So interesting matchup. I thought it was the most fascinating game of the night, the way both teams approach this, and the Thunder ultimately walk away with the win despite no Chet Holmgren and going up against one of the best rebounders in the NBA, in Ivica Zubac. All right, let's jump over to the Brooklyn Nets. Oh, the poor Pelicans. I feel for at this point, the Pelicans got Trey Murphy III back. Thank goodness, because they're running out of players. They're running out. 80% of their starting lineup is out. And it looked like those poor Pelicans at home were going to get the win. And then Cam Thomas came along and said,
You didn't say the magic word.
Please.
No, you're not. Look at Cam Thomas. 4 of 5 from 3, including a big step back 3 to put the Nets ahead late in this game. 17 points for him. Look at the balanced scoring from the Nets. Look at that. Cam Johnson with 15. You got Nick Claxton with 13. Every starter is in double figures, plus 2 of your bench players, double figures. They're sharing the basketball, 24 assists. Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, 12 assists, 5 rebounds, 12 assists on 3 turnovers. You'll take that. Only 6 points. Is it just me, or when you watch Ben Simmons play, you can't help, like, you see some of the passes he's throwing, and you can't help but feel like this man should be dominating. Ben Simmons should be out there. He should be dominating. And he just doesn't. He just kind of wants to go out there and pass the ball and do some impressive stuff every now and then. I guess to each their own. I'm still going to be keeping an eye on him, that big $40 million expiring contract. I think the question now comes into play. Have the Nets already won too many games? I mean, you go back and you look at the Eastern Conference standings, and I mean, the Nets, they're right there. They're right in. Again, part of it is the East is an absolute disaster, but you look at the Nets, they're the 5 seed right now. They were predicted to be one of, if not the worst teams in the NBA this season. And yet here they are as the 5 seed. They're 5-6. They are, on one hand, they're doing what the Nets did years ago before they got Kevin Durant, before they got Kyrie Irving. They were that plucky young team that scrapped and clawed their way through games and won and got the fans behind them and all that kind of stuff. And then eventually they cashed in their assets and went and got KD and Kyrie and went another direction. That's kind of what these Nets are doing right now. But are they playing their way out of the Cooper flag derby here? Are they not going to capture the flag? They've won 5 games already. I don't know what you do if you're like, you can't, if you're the front office, you can't tell these guys, hey, stop winning games. But yeah, they're finding ways to win, and I think that might be diminishing their opportunities in the draft lottery. But again, can't complain too much when the Nets are playing some really fun basketball. Dennis Schroeder has been fantastic, and I think a lot of teams are going to be knocking on the Nets door around the trade deadline, even before. Cam Johnson, Dennis Schroeder, these are guys that are going to be targets on the trade market. You look at the Pelicans, they're just decimated. Brandon Ingram's out there. He did his thing, 24 points, 9 assists. It's ironic that of the 5 starters, Brandon Ingram, who's incredibly injury prone, is the last man standing. Jose Alvarado got a little banged up in this game too. Hopefully he's okay. Trey Murphy III came back from injury. So at least he jumped back into the starting lineup. But Brandon Boston Jr. is starting for the Pels. Yves Missi, who's a rookie, he's starting for the Pels right now. Missi, by the way, had the very unfortunate situation where an uncontested defensive rebound, he goes to grab it, the ball slips out of his hands and goes back up and in to his own basket. He scored 2 points for the Nets in this game, and then the Pelicans lost by 2. That hurts if you're Yves Missi. Now, it was not with the game on the line when it happened, but still, when you put the ball in the wrong basket and then your team loses by 2, probably not the best feeling for Missi right now. But incredibly talented young player, and I just hope the Pelicans, they're a talented team. They've got plenty of weapons. I just hope they can get healthy sooner rather than later. All right, let's jump over to Sacramento and San Antonio. This should have been a mismatch. This was the big upset of the night. The Sacramento Kings falling to the San Antonio Spurs, and by 20. Sacramento, I had pegged as one of the better teams in the Western Conference heading into the season, but they dropped this one to the Spurs. And this is, I think there's a couple things at play here. Malik Monk is out right now due to injury. It should be more short-term. Everybody is injured in the NBA right now, it seems to be. But I think this was, Victor Wembanyama is great, and the Kings they were good, just didn't quite shoot well enough. This was just a bad shooting night for the Kings. You look at this 26% from three on 38 attempts. You live by the three, you die by the three. You've heard that saying before. And in this case, the Kings died by the three. They took a ton of threes and they didn't shoot a high enough percentage. You shoot a little bit higher percentage, and this is a very, very different game. But 0 of 5 from Kevin Huerter, 1 of 5 for Doug McDermott. I mean, these guys are good shooters. Keon Ellis, 1 for 5. That's not good enough. Keegan Murray, 1 of 5 as well. Just too many guys were cold from deep. De'Aaron Fox did his thing, 24, 6 and 3, 21, 8 and 6 for DeMar DeRozan, who's been great for the Kings, played 38 minutes. Sabonis, 23, 12 and 4, did Sabonis things. But you go look at the Spurs, guess what? 48% from deep on 46 attempts. Again, the three-point shot, it's the great equalizer. It's the biggest weapon in the NBA right now. And then it helps when you've got a guy like Victor Wembanyama, and even he's shooting from deep. From across state lines, Victor Wembanyama launched a three and hit it. Wemby, 6 of 12 from three, 14 boards, 6 assists, 3 blocks. He had a block on Sabonis where I don't think anyone else could have blocked that shot. I don't think anybody else could have gotten to it. Wemby just extends, and who knows how it's even possible that he does the things that he does. And so the Spurs wind up winning this one. And look at that. The plus minus for the starters, plus 28 for Chris Paul, plus 25. Stephon Castle has some fantastic herky-jerky stop-go moves. So he's a lot of fun to watch. But just a nice performance for San Antonio, getting a win over a very quality team in San Antonio. And the Spurs, at the end of the season, they may be looking, saying, man, we wish we can get that one back. 6-5 now on the season, the San Antonio Spurs. All right, let's finish things out. I'll be honest. I saved this one for last because I think it's the least interesting game on the slate, and that was the Washington Wizards taking on the Houston Rockets. I don't mean to be disrespectful or anything like that to the Washington Wizards, but they're just not that interesting of a team. I know they're still in teardown mode. They have not fully torn down this team. Maybe there'll be a Kyle Kuzma trade in their future, but you look at what this team did. They're just not efficient enough in order to be a threat here. 18 points for Kyle Kuzma. He may wind up getting moved. Jordan Poole, 5 of 14. That's not efficient enough. The 4 steals, you'll give him that. Bub Carrington was actually pretty good at a couple of step-back threes. 4 steals, 2 blocks for Carrington. There were some exciting things there. The future is what it's all about for this Wizards team. I think it's interesting that Valanciunas, being one of their summer acquisitions, he's going to be very firmly on the trade market, but 17 minutes not starting for the Wizards right now. Alex Sarr is starting, number 2 overall pick. They're going to let him try to learn on the fly, 2 of 9 from the field. And then you look at Houston. There was a moment actually where, for a little bit, where Steven Adams and Valanciunas were on the floor together, 2 very old school, throwback style bruiser centers, neither one of them, a high fly act, but both incredibly strong. Actually kind of fun seeing that out there. It was like a step back in time, but 27% good. One of my favorite players in the NBA. He's incredible. 7 offensive rebounds, 17 rebounds overall, feasted on the boards. Helps when your opponent's shooting 41% from the field, but he was fantastic in this game. Chipped in with 3 assists, 3 block shots, 27 points, living up to that new contract that the Rockets gave him. And the Rockets, frankly, made kind of light work out of the Washington Wizards. But again, I thought this overall was a really exciting night. Let's take a quick peek at the Western Conference standings right now. And I know I already showed the Eastern Conference, but let's finish things off. Here's the West standings. The Houston Rockets now 7-4, finding themselves firmly in the mix here in the West, the incredibly deep West. Look at this. The Mavs are 500. They would be the 4 seed, the 3 seed in the East, and they're the 11 seed in the West. And look at that. San Antonio right behind them, 5-6, playing well. San Antonio maybe threatening to get into the playoff mix in the Western Conference. The Houston Rockets, again, 7-4 right now. Houston firmly in the playoff chase. It's early, very early in the NBA season here, but things are going to be interesting in the West. That's for sure. This is going to be a very tight race. Every single game in the West is going to matter because that's how close this competition is going to be for playoff seeding in the Western Conference. But everybody, thank you so much for hanging out here. Make sure that you do subscribe to the Basketball Bulletin. Had some great stuff out yesterday, including a full breakdown on Chet Holmgren's injury that you guys can check out. So make sure you give that a look, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Till next time, everybody. See ya and stay safe.